Mabuhay, everybody. My name is Fred Jock Dossel. I wear a lot of hats, literally and figuratively. But for the purposes of today's event, I am in particular going to be wearing these two hats: the treasurer of the Filipino Young Leaders Program, or FYLPRO, which is running this roadshow that we're all here today, as well as the Mabuhay branch and business development coordinator for Mabuhay Credit Union, hosting this roadshow. So, as a sponsor, I'd like to introduce Mabuhay Credit Union to you all. Um, a lot of people mix credit unions in the same bucket as a typical bank for obvious reasons, right? We are a financial institution that offers financial products and services. The biggest difference, however, is that credit unions are not for profit, which means that the focus is on you as a member if you open a savings account with us, right? Um, if you look at the typical organization structure of a bank, the employees and the board of directors ultimately work to make money for the stockholders, and that's only a select number of stockholders, essentially making money off of the customers, right? In the credit union space, the employees and the board of directors exist to serve our members. Again, as long as you have a savings account with us, you're a shareholder, you're a part owner of the company. Our board of directors are actually elected from amongst our membership. So what that means is that our members ultimately decide our policies as an institution. Okay. Now, in the Philippines, the credit unions are what you would call a cooperative. Um, an informal way of looking at it would be if a group of friends or coworkers do what we call the paluwagan. However, credit unions are either state or federally regulated and insured, which means that your deposits are safe and secure with us. Okay. A lot of people ask, if our rates are higher, and my answer is it's both higher and lower than a typical bank. The share dividends are typically higher than a bank, so that your deposits grow faster. Flip side of the coin, the loan rates are typically lower than a bank, which means you pay less on your loan. So again, in both cases, beneficial to our membership. As a credit union, Mabuhay Credit Union is hyper local. We actively support our local community, and I'll show some more slides on this later. So there's a lot of things that we do here, but again, we offer a lot of the same products and services that a typical bank provides. Deposits, we have savings accounts, checking accounts. We actually have two different kinds of youth accounts. And then on the investment side, we offer money markets, IRAs, and CDs. On the loan side of things, we offer auto loans, both new and used cars. We have credit cards, personal loans. We can assist you with bill consolidation if you need it, as well as mortgage loans. We offer new, refinance, and even home equity lines of credit. And in this day and age, it's about accessibility, right? So we offer online banking. We have our own app. We help with wire transfers, and also offer cash remittance to the Philippines and anywhere else in the world. Okay. And many other products and services that we provide to our membership. Now, a typical credit union is going to be significantly smaller than a traditional bank. The way we work around that to compete with the banks is what we Filipinos call the Bayanihan spirit. Okay, so there's roughly about 5,000 credit union branches across the country, wherein if you're a member of Mabuhay Credit Union, you can walk into another credit union branch and transact your business as if you were here, if they're a shared branch. And this is actually even more pronounced with regards to ATMs. As long as you see this logo, which is the co-op logo, you can use that machine surcharge free. Okay, so again, it allows you access without physically having to come to us. Obviously, you're always welcome to, but it certainly is nice to have that option of not having to travel far to get to either a shared branch or an ATM. Okay. Now, for those of you that are here physically, we're located in Carson, just a stone's throw away from our parent company, our corporate offices in Gardena. And we are in the corner of Carson and Main Street. Just north of us, right across the street on Carson Street, is Seafood City. Right behind us in the same parking lot, actually, is Tambuli, another grocery. And just about a block away is St. Philomena Church and School, which we call St. Philipina because of the very high Filipino population. Out of roughly about 100,000 population here in Carson, fully 20%, so just about 20,000 are of Filipino descent. Okay, and actually, when we did the market research to have a foodie challenge last year, in a 10-mile radius from our location, there are 40 Filipino restaurants. So that's right. So that's amazing. Now, in our offices here, we're extremely proud to have the work of Eliseo Art Silva. He's most famous for his huge mural. This is a 120 feet wide mural in historic Filipino town. This is his painting at Search to Involve Filipino Americans, or SIPA. And this mural is actually located here about a couple miles south on Main Street. We call this the Philippine Masters Collection. If you look at the first office, our northernmost office is called the Luzonian Legacies. The central office here is called the Visayan Viajeros. And my office, I'm from Cagayan de Oro City, is the Mindanao and Maharlikans. And here in our conference room is the Mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas. Each of these panels are 6 feet by 6 feet. So the conference room is 12 feet wide, right? Because there's two of them right next to each other. So we're extremely proud of this. If you haven't had a chance to visit us yet, please do come. I love, to give people a tour here because we, as a credit union, we consider ourselves to be a community organization that just so happens to deal with finance. And really, the Mabuhay Philippine Masters Collection, it gives us an element of history, of education, of culture, and certainly the arts, right? So feel free to come visit us here. As a brief history of our parent company, our parent company, Nikkei Credit Union, was actually founded in 1951. Just for perspective, that's the year my father was born. If you put yourself back into that climate, this is very shortly after the end of World War II, during which Japanese Americans who were based here in the US, they were forcibly uprooted from their homes and sent to concentration camps. After spending a year, 2, 3 years at the concentration camps, when they came back home, they had lost everything. And again, because of the rampant racism that was happening at the time, which unfortunately is still ongoing now, they could not just go to a typical bank and ask for a loan to rebuild their lives. And so again, in the spirit of what we call the Bayanihan spirit, those that had resources, they pulled those resources together and started loaning it out for people to rebuild their lives, right? So obviously there's been a lot of growth in the past several decades. However, in recent years, a number of changes drastically affected the Japanese American community. One of which, there was a huge exodus of Japanese firms. These are big companies, including Mitsubishi, Honda, Alpine, Toyota, and Kubota. All of them left the South Bay here in Los Angeles and moved elsewhere for financial reasons. So that prompted the company to expand elsewhere. And initially, they looked at the other Asian American groups here in Southern California. So they took a look at the Chinese, the Koreans, the Indians, and of course the Filipinos. Now, in doing the market research, what we realized was that there were already multiple financial institutions supporting these other Asian communities. But surprisingly, despite the fact that Filipinos are the second largest Asian group, we didn't really have our own full service financial institution up until recently, right? These numbers were actually taken from the 2010 census. Obviously, there's a lot more growth since then, particularly in the Filipino community, but it just shows that this is a very underserved community. The side of the company, Nikkei needed to expand, and the Filipino community was very underserved. So it complements each other very nicely. management team, we have a Hernandez, we have a Lee and a Tan. All of them just so happen to be Filipino. And what we also did was we created an advisory council, some of whom are here with us today. Basically, we grouped, we collected these individuals who are well known and respected in their own respective fields to be our sounding board. We want to ensure that what we're planning on doing is right for our community and ultimately can better serve our community. Okay, you can see our mission and our vision: advancing prosperity for our communities, both the Nikkei and now the Mabuhay communities. Our core values, my favorite here is Bayanihan para sa Kabataan, but there's a reason why these all are our core values. It really just makes sense for us to live these values. We moved into this location physically in 2019. I like to refer to that as BC, or before COVID. However, the pandemic, while it shut down a lot of things that we've been used to in the past, it did not stop us from being involved in our community. So, events like the Independence Day celebration, roughly about 15,000 attendees here locally in the city of Carson. We actually set a Guinness World Record for the 4th of July celebration that we did. Most people making slime simultaneously, and many other local events here, whether us financially sponsoring it or just supporting it or just simply attending the events. It's how we can support and really uplift us from within, right? So ultimately, it's about supporting our own community and raising us up from the inside. We don't have to wait for someone else to do it for us, right? And more recently, we've had the Stop Asian Hate rally and vigil. That didn't work, so we had our self-defense workshop to teach our community how to defend themselves. And then in light of the pandemic, we worked with a number of other organizations to have pop-up vaccine clinics here in Carson. So to reiterate, there's accessibility. You can go online, you can use your app, you can go to shared branches or the ATM, and most certainly you're more than welcome to visit us here locally, as well as a wide variety of consumer financial products and services, on both the deposit side and the loan side. You've already seen this slide, but at this point, I have a handful of calls to action here. First and foremost, would you like to open an account with Mabuhay Credit Union today? And if you want to, my staff and I, we would be more than happy to assist you with that. Next, let us know if there are any community events that we might be involved with, if you know of any potential business partners that we can work with, and yourselves obviously included, but if please refer us to any Filipino community leaders that we should connect with. And last but definitely not the least, would you be interested in signing up your company, your organization, or your association as an official partner of Mabuhay Credit Union, be it as a select employer group or a SEG partner, or as an association partner? So at this point, I will like to open the floor rather, for questions. Let me know if you have any questions. And I would like to invite everybody to follow us on our social media accounts, which, we actually have a pretty strong footprint. So again, my name is Fred Tasso, representing Mabuhay Credit Union and the Filipino Young Leaders Program. Maraming salamat and mabuhay.